Hello and welcome to another episode of Worst Collection Ever, the Have You Heard About edition of our podcast, where we look into entries, bios, stories, I guess, things that will inform you about some of the characters and comic book heroes and whatever that we talk about on the podcast. Try to keep it in tune with stuff we've worked on or just worked on. In this case, today we're going to talk about Puck from Alpha Flight. We just finished talking about Alpha Flight for a couple of issues. Figured I was going to pick an Alpha Flight person, and you got a whole bunch of people, especially in this book that I always use, the official Marvel Handbook of the Marvel Universe, Ohatmu. And I was like, well, maybe I could do Sasquatch, because that guy's pretty interesting, or there's always Aurora or North Star. And we did talk about Puck a few times. Jen did like to bring up Puck and his mustache. And I looked up Puck, and I was actually quite wrong about a lot of what I described about Puck as far as, like, his origins go. Like, his powers, I think, were kind of right on, but his origins, I was way off. And I was surprised. I just assumed he was a mutant, but he is not. No, he is a guy that found a sword, and he became a dwarf, and he had a malevolent spirit in him. That is so far off from what I originally thought this was all about. But anyways, let's get to talking about him here. Puck. This is from, of course, the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. Paladin to the Rhino. So, issue number 10. And actually, Puck is featured pretty prominently on the cover of this particular official handbook of the Marvel Universe Deluxe Edition entry. He is doing a handstand, right in a cartwheel kind of thing, right in front of Luke Cage. It was good to get them some shine. So let's talk about Puck. Real name, Eugene Milton Judd. Occupation, professional adventurer, former soldier of fortune, sometimes bouncer. Legal status, citizen of Canada with a criminal record. Former alias is unknown. Place of birth, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. So right smack dab in the middle of Canada. Marital status, single. Known relatives, none. Group affiliation, former member of Beta Flight, current member of Alpha Flight. First appearance, Alpha Flight number 1. Base of operations, Alpha Flight headquarters, Tamarind Island, British Columbia, Canada. You know, I could have sworn that the Alpha Flight headquarters was more east, like in Ontario, since it was a, government-funded operation for the most part. You think it would be closer to the capital of Canada, Ottawa, but I guess not. So first appearance, Alpha Flight number 1, origin Alpha Flight number 32, and we'll just jump right to his actual stats here. We got height 3'6", eyes brown, hair bald, unusual features. Puck's right ear is misshapen, presumably due to an old injury. And if you see, there's a picture here, a drawing here of his ear, and it just looks like it's just cauliflower ear. So he might have did a little wrestling. Back in the day, he might have wrestled, Yukon Eric in the Maritimes. Could have wrestled Abdul the Butcher. Actually, Abdul the Butcher v. Puck would be a dream match for me. Prime Abdul the Butcher, obviously, not now. The guy's much older now. But I would actually love to see Puck fight Abdul the Butcher in 1984. That would be awesome.
Transmitter device activated. Coordinates set for Earth 2.
In 1961, in the pages of issue 123 of The Flash, Barry Allen, the Silver Age Flash of Earth 1, travelled to another dimension, met Jay Garrick, the Golden Age Flash of Earth 2, and the DC multiverse as we know it was born.
And in 1985, after many years of cross-dimensional adventures, DC Comics published the cataclysmic Crisis on Infinite Earths, and the DC multiverse was gone.
But did you know that Barry Allen's Flash was not the first hero to meet a version of himself from another dimension?
Did you know that Jay Garrick wasn't even the first Golden Age character to return in the Silver Age of comics?
The scope of the pre-crisis DC multiverse reaches far beyond Earth 1 and Earth 2.
And the legacy of DC's Golden Age characters is a lot wider than the heroes you know like Flash, Green Lantern, Sandman and Starman.
On the Earth 2 podcast, we navigate the pre-crisis DC Comics multiverse of universes and other dimensions.
And we celebrate and explore the legacy of DC's Golden Age characters, including the legendary Justice Society of America, and a lot more besides.
So join me, Peter Watson,
and me, David Steele, and our occasional guests of friends, family and fellow podcasters
for weekly dramatic readings and analysis of the pre-crisis DC Comics multiverse and the legacy of their Golden Age characters through the Silver and Bronze Ages of comics.
On
the Earth 2 podcast.
Transmatter Cube activated. Return coordinates set for Earth Prime.
So let's get into his origin here, though. Eugene Milton Judd was born in 1914 and led an adventurous life as a soldier of fortune. He was quite tall and powerfully built man with considerable athletic skill. And I did a little bit of additional research just to kind of round things out. And according to the Marvel Wiki, he killed a bear to support his family at one point when he was 7 or 8. And he said from that point on that he was going to lead an adventurous life, or as we like to say here on our podcast, a zesty life. So Puck wants to lead a zesty life, and he certainly has, because he was an Alpha Flight for so long. He's done so many crazy things. Just kind of hearing about him too here, like he really lived a life very akin to Metamorpho. So, but instead of being turned into a bunch of elements, he was turned into, I guess, pure condensed flesh. But what happened was in 1939, Judd became interested in a treasure called the Black Blade of Baghdad. He received retainers from certain dealers and activities to obtain the blade for them, but his primary motivation was seeking the blade was his curiosity about its supernatural origins. He was into some shit, and he got paid to do so. But when he got the blade, he was like, you know what? I'm not going to give it back. I'm going to go out. I'm going to hang out with Black Knight. He's got a black blade, and we're going to be the Black Blade Brothers. And that's how it's going to go. But anyways, so we got this sword, and the sword is corrupt with this sorcerer, Razor. He was a Persian sorcerer that messed around and found out and got stuck in the sword. And because of touching the sword is able to drain the life force of those who touches it. So it's kind of like an Uncle Frank Hellraiser situation where it, needs human organic. We're talking organic an organic situation here where you touch the sword and it drains your life power, and it also makes you shorter. That's very important to understand here about Puck. He touched this sword and it made him shorter. So now he has to contend with that. I guess he knew a little bit of sorcery himself. Puck did, which is surprising. But again, this guy led a zesty life and find a way around doing sorcery to combat sword draining demons. So he was able to manage the sorcerer's essence to be maintained in his body. So every time we see him, up until maybe like 1990-ish or whatever, he has like a sorcerer in his body, okay? And it hurts really bad, and it's keeping him from growing older, but it also has diminished his height to the point that he is 3 foot 5. Something did happen where he committed murder and was in jail, and James McDonald was getting the band together, and he was like, you know what, I want that guy, the 3'6" guy, to kick some ass for me, and he brought him in as a part of this group. But before that, this is actually something I did not know about at all, and I think it's expanded upon in some Wolverine comic, or maybe definitely Alpha. I think it's definitely an Alpha Flight, but there's some Wolverine comics where he hangs out with Puck and Wolverine, kind of do some stuff together. But it says here that it is known that, however, that Judd spent a year in Spain as the friend of author Ernest Hemingway and learned to become a bullfighter during this time despite his dwarfish size. So I'm just picturing him in that Madonna video, Take a Bow, where she's like romancing this bullfighter guy, but it's just Puck. It's just this really, really short dude, and Madonna is just lovingly caressing him and singing all wonderfully because he was the greatest of lovers and the most dangerous bullfighter. James McDonald, though, he was like, all right, let's get Judd out of jail. Let's have him into this group. And he was working as a bouncer in a tavern. I think he would be a great addition to the Niagara Falls scene, trying to keep that in order. Definitely could use a Puck hanging around those bars. American side and Canadian side. At least when I was growing up, things can get a little bit hairy at Rumors. But he joined Alpha Flight, and he was very happy to do so. Just being an adventurer, having a good time. I got not really a good time, but he was happy to not be in jail and to be doing cool shit. He also got into Heather Hudson, who was Guardian's widow. She also becomes Vindicator, as we mentioned. But, it was difficult because Puck is a short dude, like very short, and Heather is a normal-sized woman, and he's like, damn it, I want to give her the goods, and I can't give her really anything. I mean, I don't know what we're working with down there. I mean, maybe his extremities were short, but like maybe, the package is still there. Maybe he's still keeping that rocking. I mean, but he clearly did not feel adequate. Also, I guess I don't know if this is an issue or a previous episode we did where he says that he felt really bad about taking the life of Deadly Ernest. We did cover a Deadly Ernest issue a long time ago, and I don't know if this was a thing that happened to him in that particular issue, but I would like to find out. He was really into Heather, and because he was really into Heather, this demon, this sorcerer inside his body, took advantage of that, and even because constantly he's in pain because this demon is trying to get out of his body, and he was in this compromised state because he really cared about Heather and was really protective of her, and the demon used that to escape, and he knew that he had to reintegrate this demon into his body. Because, well, first of all, he left his body and he immediately, like, I don't think he went back to being the same height, but he definitely lost all the years. So he was probably north of 90 at this point. It was kind of like a reverse sea monkey. So, or maybe a little bit of both. So he got more he got taller, but more but more aged. But he had to reintegrate this demon into his body. So he became shorter again and younger. And that's really it for the entry here in the Marvel Handbook. According to, Alpha Flight, or is a entry here on the Marvel Wiki, it just mentions some stuff here about the ruler of hell at one point. Yeah, we're throwing that out there. There's this thing about him joining the Uncanny X-Force and him sending an email to Psylocke. And him and Storm tracking down a drug dealer in L.A. I kind of want to read that, actually. So this is the thing. So according to the this Marvel Handbook, Puck possesses the normal human strength of a man of his physical age, height, and build who engages in intense regular exercise. The only superpower that it addresses here is that his body is aging very slowly because of Razor in his body, and he has very good abilities, agility and all that stuff in training because he was just a regular height guy and he trained like that. But he trains tall, but he is short. And also too, this is something that throws in here. Puck has many unusual talents, most of which have yet to be revealed. This being 1986, a successful bullfighter. He has some knowledge of sorcery. And could put himself into a temporary death-like coma. That is very out there. So he can just take really good naps and knows how to fight bulls. None of those are mutant powers, by the way. None of those are mutant powers. I was convinced that he was mutant powers. But even according to the Marvel wiki, I guess because of all the compression and all the stuff that's going on with his body, that went on with his body when he was messing with that blade, his tissues became condensed at a molecular level that renders his body akin to compressed rubber. And that's why I thought they called him Puck. But I guess it has more to do with the fact that he is able to do sick moves. Is his spinning technique that earned him a comparison to a hockey puck, hence his code name. So it has nothing to do with the condensed rubber body, which I was very adamant about in the podcast. No, it has everything to do with the fact that he spins like a hockey puck and also Canadian. That definitely didn't hurt the chances of him being called Puck. So I don't really have much else to say about him. I do think he's interesting. I was actually surprised to find out that he has these weird mystical origins. I did not expect that. I just assumed that he was a mutant, because it doesn't think about Alpha Flight is that not all of them are mutants. Some of them are aliens or scientists. But they have a few mutants in there, and I was just very confused about that. But turns out Puck is just a regular dude that had some bad luck. Puck has no luck. So let's leave it at that. Thanks for listening, everybody. You can find us on our Instagrams, our socials, at Angry Hero Sean and at Jen Stansfield. You can rate and review this podcast anywhere you get it. Please check out our YouTube at Worst Collection Ever. We got a whole bunch of cool stuff up there, including some shorts, no pun intended. And also email us at worstcollectionever@gmail.com. So once again, folks, thanks for listening, and we'll talk again next time.